Today's topic is love is the answer. And you've probably heard that before, that love is the answer. So the first thing that comes to my mind is, what is the question? If love is the answer, what is the question? One question is, what is it that the world most needs right now? Many of us are stressed about various things. Years ago, I took a stress test. Have any of you ever taken a stress test? They look at life events, like if you've gone through a divorce or a recent breakup of a relationship. So if someone close to you has passed away, and each one of these events has a certain numerical value that has been given to it. And if there's been multiple people who have passed away in the last year that are close to you, then that all just begins to expand exponentially. It asks various things like if there's changes in your job, are there changes in your health? Have there been changes in your living environment? Are there changes in your activities? Many of us have had changes of all kinds. And what amused me and surprised me when I took this stress test was one of the questions was, do you celebrate Christmas? And there was a certain stress number given to people who celebrate Christmas. Thinking about going out and shopping and getting together with family and trying to negotiate differences within the family, trying to, help people with their various diets. Some might be pescatarian, some may be vegan, some are, there's all these different varieties. And so there's a stress that is often associated with the holiday. This Christmas is very different. Many of us may not be able to get together with all of our family. Perhaps we're just there with our spouse, or if we're single, maybe we are by ourselves this Christmas, but maybe on Zoom or something with family members. It's all very different. And there's a certain stress that is attached to that, celebrating Christmas in a whole new way. Now, it is an opportunity to be more low scale about Christmas, to not have to rush around as much, but there's still a certain stress that is implied in it. When I think about Christmas, when I think about the meaning of Christmas, the primary meaning is love. What I find is that there are not big stressors when I am acting in love. When I am acting in love, then everything calms down. Have you noticed when people fall in love that no amount of difficulty or struggle seems to tire them out? It's amazing. When people fall in love, suddenly they're able to stay up until 2 a.m. talking on the phone. Suddenly they're able to go to movies, and they're able to go to activities, and they're able to give lots of time and attention and energy to this person, and the birds are singing more sweetly, and the air smells sweeter, and everybody looks nicer. And have you ever noticed that? It's like, how did that happen? Nothing's really changed except inside them. The experience of love is extremely energizing. And right now, during this Christmas time, this is a time of stress and challenge with the pandemic and the shelter in place. Here in California, we are given some pretty strict instructions about sheltering in place. And one of the difficulties that I find is that not only do we want to receive love, we want to be able to give love. And how do we do that when we're physically separate from each other, or not hugging, or not being in each other's homes and company. Becomes a challenge. The world right now is really longing for love, crying for it. We must find ways in which to not only experience it, but to give it. When I moved here to Novato, California, there are lots of dogs here. Now, I've lived other places and people have dogs, but I mean, people here have dogs. There's some who have cats. Don't want to leave out our cat people. But I notice wherever I go, people have dogs. If I go to Stinson Beach, if I'm walking down the street, if I'm hiking in the mountains, there are dogs. And I've wondered, what is it about a dog or a cat or whatever kind of pet that someone really cherishes and values? I've noticed so many people, sometimes on my particular street, there are a couple of older gentlemen who at first look grumpy. You know, at first, they just have this kind of stern look on their face, but they see me walking down the street so often now. One of them is much more friendly, but they always have their dogs. And I'm thinking, what is it about their dog that they want so badly? I realized, well, that dog is unconditional love. That dog will love them no matter what. If they go off on a trip, or if they go to the store or whatever without the dog, chances are the dog will not be angry at them when they get back and, you know, wondering where they've been. The dog is just so happy to see them. There's something so unconditional and loving about a dog. But I thought of the other side of this. We all need someone or something to love. And I'm thinking, they look grumpy. I don't know if they really are grumpy, but I notice they're always alone except for their dog, almost always alone. And it makes me wonder if that need to love is not so intrinsic that everybody, no matter our personality, no matter how we're feeling, we need someone or something to love. We're geared that way. And then I ask myself, why are we geared that way? Well, God is love. The book of 1 John in the Christian scriptures, chapter 4, says God is love. And so that means the essence of all that is love. The essence of everything is love. The essence of everything, the absolute, the elemental aspect of our universe is love. Nothing exists without love. Love is permeated into every single thing that is here. That means us. That's what our true nature is. We are love. Everything that we are is truly love. And so without love, we are cut off from meaning. So going back to the title, that love is the answer. And what are the questions? Another question is, what is the meaning of life? The meaning of life is love. What is it that I am here to do? The answer is love. The birth of Jesus is what we are commemorating at Christmas time. And what we are celebrating at this time is the experience of love. Love being born. Love coming into the world. Symbolizing that Christ being born in each and every one of us as love. We are here to love each other. There are people that I have differences of political opinions with. I'm friends with a lot of people who think very differently from me. And what I realize is I can still love. A person does not have to agree with everything that I believe in order for me to love them. My best friend in Wichita, he and I have very, very, very different views on politics, on government, on all sorts of things. And yet our love can never be broken. No amount of circumstances, no amount of polarity, no amount of political upheaval can separate that love. Because love is absolute. It is enduring. And that is the power we are looking at today with the fourth Advent candle that we have lit. It's the power of love. Do you have room for love in your life? Or are you trying to protect yourself from connecting with others? I don't mean, but we need to continue to follow the protocol we are told to follow. But what I'm talking about is we can still reach out to people. We can still call them. We can still see if our neighbors need something. We are not being called to cut off from life. The power of this month is life, symbolized by the color red. And the power of life is what powers all the others of the 12 powers. Life. We are here to live. I remember working at a big psychiatric facility in Wichita, Kansas. And one of the social workers that I was working with, we were talking about what is the meaning of life. He said the meaning of life is to live. Are you living? Are you living fully? We can't live fully without love. Love is essential, not only at Christmas time, but every day of the year. You know, sometimes we make religion complicated. We have sometimes theology and principles and rules and all kinds of things in various religious traditions. It's interesting to me that Paul, in the book of Romans, said that there's one basic law, and if you follow it, you've fulfilled all of it, and that is to love. Jesus said the same thing, that to love God and to love your neighbor sums up everything. That if you do that, you got it. I hope that this Christmas is a time of you reaching out in love to your family, to friends. Love for God. I hope that love for God is a motivating force in your life. Love is the answer. And I invite you to repeat after me. Where I am, God is. And where God is, there is love. I act and move from love. And so it is. Amen.